Bere Hashemayim, Waharataza, Wahamayim. Blessed is your name, Yahweh, the great Elohim of our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the creator of the heavens and the earth and the sea. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Abba Yahweh, we come to you now humbled as always, giving you all praise, honor, and esteem, and saying Todah Rabbah Abba, Thawadah Rabbah Abba, for blessing us with your Ruach HaKodesh, just leading us in the truth, giving us understanding, Abba Yah, of who we are and whose we are. We thank you for this platform, Abba Yah, that we can come together and try and, with all our zeal, Abba Yah, all our heart, to try and return to the glorious, set apart, Quadash, holy culture that you blessed our forefathers with. And as we've been discontinued from our heritage for so long, Abba Yah, we just ask that you wink at our ignorance, but give us truth as we journey back, Abba Yah, trying to get closer and closer to you, Abba Yah, trying to understand exactly what our forefathers were saying on the preserved holy scrolls, Abba Yah, that you inspired and ensured that was left for our learning. In all things, Tob and Ra, Todah Rabbah Abba, Barak Hashem Yahweh, Barak Atha Yahweh, Barak Haba Hashem Yahweh. Blessed is your name, Yahweh. Blessed are you, Yahweh, and blessed is he that comes in your name, Yahweh. Halal Yah. Amen. All right, Ms. Bakar, we're going to do a little bit different lesson today. We're going to go through the new, the recently posted vocabulary words, and then I just want to open the floor and kind of go through questions or maybe clarify a little bit more of things that you might have, might be foggy on, you know what I mean, to the best of my ability. So let me pull up the screen share. Can y'all see that?
Okay.
Fine.
All right. So this is the page 2, the next 30 vocabulary words in Better Sheet chapter 1 or Genesis chapter 1. And I don't have the script open with me. We'll get to that, but I don't rightly recall which verse these vocabularies are in, where we're continuing from. So we'll just go through the Hebrew word and the pronunciation. And what we're really trying to do is to isolate the root word or the parent root. All right. And I've already noticed a couple of typos that I will fix. For whatever reason, I'm not able to upload right now the corrections on these typos. So just keep that in mind and check back later. And I'll have the corrected typos on the website. And just so everybody knows, I'm coming off the website right now. So what you're looking at right now is what you have access to on the website. All right. So in Genesis chapter 1, continuing on with the vocabulary, the first is shani. Shani. And what you see in the parentheses is the phonetic. All right. That's how it sounds. All right. And it means second. The root, shani, second, second time, again, another. And let me make a note here that what you see in the parentheses right here is the way the English has this word translated. All right. What you see in the parentheses is what the English has translated this Hebrew word as. All right. And then the parent root is shana, shana. and it means double, repeat, or fold over. Kind of like a sheet of paper. You fold that over and now it's double, right? Number 2, and that's a typo. The Hebrew is correct. Yaiqab, Yaiqab, Yaiqab. So that hyphen right there should be behind the W. The way you pronounce that with Yaiqab, Yaiqab. And the English has it translated as gathered together. All right. The root is kawa or kwawa, depending on the dialect. And it means to bind together, collect, and figuratively, it means to expect or to wait for, or wait on. Next, we have mitakat or mitakat, depending on your dialect. In the modern, that would be mitakath with the TH sound. All right. Doesn't have that dagesh in it. So it would be with the dagesh, that dot in the middle right there, it's more like a T sound, but without it, in the modern, it's a TH sound. So that's how they get mitakath. All right. And the English has it translated as under. The root, takat, takath, and that's the bottom, beneath, same place, flat. The parent root is toak, toak. And remember, Morey Samak explained how that you pronounce that nakud before the consonant, and when it's the last one. All right. So that's how we get the toak, toak. All right. It means to depress or humble. Not be humble, to depress or to humble somebody, to make them humble. All right. And then we got El Macomb. El Macomb. That's unto one place is the way the English has it translated. Unto one place. The root, Macomb, means standing place, a station, post, or space. The parent root is kum, or kum. Sometimes in the Paleo you'll hear Kwam Yasha Allah, Kwam Yasha Allah. And the root is to rise up, stand up, become powerful. And then, for example, you got Kum Yashala means Yisrael in the modern. Kum Yisrael in the modern dialect means rise Israel, or Israel rise. Either way is correct. And then you may have heard the song Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. You know, in some places you'll see where they're saying, come by here, and that's not what it's saying. It's saying rise in Yah. All right. Then you got Watera A, let appear in the English translation. And then you got Tere is the root, to be seen, to present oneself, to be visible. Now, all of these vocabulary words are what we've read already in Genesis or Battle Sheet chapter 1. So recognize these when we go back to the reading practice. All right. And then the parent root. I think I've seen a new Talmud in here. How can I explain it? What we're going through now, what you see now is the word that's in the script. And then what we're doing is isolating the root word And then sometimes that root word comes from a parent root. I don't know how far along you are, Koti Ida. I don't know how far along you are in the language, but that's what we're doing here. The word that's in the text, and we're trying to isolate the root. And then sometimes there's a parent root where that root word comes from, which stems to the word that's in the text. And we're not really breaking down the prefixes and the suffixes yet. Some of us know it. some of the Talmudim already know the prefixes. And then the parent root of that Watareya is Re'ah, and it's to see, to look, to perceive, to regard, or to consider. Torah. All right. Hayabashah. And the English has it translated as the dry land. Yabashah is the root. Dry land, dry ground, anything dry according to the context. So if they were talking about leaves, you might just see that word Yabashah or Hayabashah, but it would be the dry leaves, even though leaves might, even though whatever it's pointing to is dried up. So if we just see leaves and then that it's dry leaves, all right? I hope that explains it. And then the parent root, Yabashe, is to wither away or dry up. And we got Yamin, we'll have to look at that the phonetic, but it's still the same, Yamin, all right, and it means seas. The root is yam, that's a sea, and there are quite a few synonyms, but sea for our, ocean, like the ocean, the sea for our vocabulary. And then the next is Tadashe, bring forth. Dashe is the root, to sprout up, to shoot, to grow green. And then the parent root, Dasha. Dasha is to grow, sprout, bring forth. Now this might sound the same, Dashe, but look at the nakuds there. And they got it translated as grass. Almost the same word, they nakuded it different, put the vowel point different, and now they're talking about, they translated it as grass. All right, deshe is the root, grass, herb, a sprout, tender, a green grass, herb. And the parent root, desha, the same as bring forth. All right. 10, that's Eseb. Notice where the holum is. Not the holum, but the, remember if it was a sh sound, it would be over here to the right. And that dot over here to the left makes it an S sound. So we got Eseb, not Esheb, Eseb. And it's, they got it translated as the herb. Eseb is the root, and it means to glisten or to be green as any tender shoot or herb. And then the next one is Mazriya. And they got it translated as yielding. Zaria is the root. To produce seed, to yield seed. And then the parent root is zara, zara. To sow, as in to sow seeds, or to disseminate or plant. You got a close second here, number 12. Notice the vowel pointing. We got zera, zera. And they got it translated as seed. The root, zera, seed, plant, fruit, figuratively, posterity, child, fruitful. And once again, the parent root is zera, zera. Same as 11. 13, I'm gonna move a little bit faster. We got eights, eights. That means they got it translated as tree. The root is etz, etz. Pronounced eights, but it means firm, anything that a tree can produce. That's really what it is. It could be wood, gallows, stick. I don't think staff is in there, but we can look at that. But anything wood can produce, the firm is the point. It's firm. Somebody got a question? I think somebody's mic came up, and I can't see. I'm on the share screen. All right, we'll keep going. The parent root, atsa. It means to fasten or to make firm. Then we got peri, peri, translated as fruit. Peri is the root, fruit, produce or groceries, fruit, progeny, children, or offspring. Parent root, para, para, to bear fruit, to make fruitful, grow, increase. Then we got lemino, lemino, translated as after his kind. The root, mino, to sort, to distinguish, as in classify. Say again, I could barely hear you. Somebody trying to speak? All right, we'll keep going. And when they're talking about this, to sort, to distinguish, to classify, they're more like talking like genus, class, philo, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So you would have the red heifer would be a sort or distinguished from, let's say, a dairy cow. You know, so it's saying that's what it means by to sort or distinguish or classify. After his kind. And then the parent root, mean, to portion out as a species, kind, usually of animals. We got bo, translated as in itself. And a note here, the prefix, the bait or vate, depending on your dialect, meaning in, and the suffix o, meaning it's, masculine. Together translate to in itself. All right, that's how they get in itself out of that. And then number 17 is shalishi, shalishi. It means third in an ordinal number. The root is shilishi. Hard to tell the difference, but it's a third part, third in rank or third in time. And then the parent root is shalosh. shalosh. That's 3. Occasionally it's ordinal, 3rd, 13, 3 score. Occasionally, remember that. And we've seen this before. Y'all can pick out the root here, but it's ma'orot, 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 lights in the plural. Ma'or, ma'or. And it's really like a chandelier is really like what it's talking about. But any luminary, brightness, figuratively, cheerfulness. And of course, we know the parent root is or, to be luminous, break of day, figurative, glorious, give light, lightened. And there's quite a few more synonyms. You look those up in the Strong's or whatever concordance you like. You know, I use Strong's. 19, la'oth, la'oth, translated as for signs. And the root here is oath. It's signal, ensign as a flag, a monument, evidence, mark, or token, and a few more synonyms. The parent root is oot, oot, ooth. That's to come as consent or agree. Almost there. Then we got limarot. Limarot. And they got it translated as 4 lights. And those that are practicing their prefixes now, we see that lami. And then we got ma'or, ma'or. Again, a chandelier, luminary, cheerfulness, brightness. Of course, the parent root again is or. Laha'ir, laha'ir. You got to translate it as to give light. Ha'or, illuminate, to give light as sun, moon, stars, to shine, to be brightened as become light or day. The parent root again is or. The parent root again is or. And I hope you're starting to see it now that you got to do your work to pick out the root. You're not always going to see the root in this form. All right. Next, number 22, et shene. Et shene. They got it translated as 2. The root, shanayim, shanayim, 2 as an ordinal, twofold, both. Second, twain. And then the parent root, shani, shani. It means double, second, again, another. '23, hagadolim, hagadolim, hagadolim. They got it translated as great. The root here is gadol, gadol, gadol. Means older, eldest, exceeding, exceedingly, mighty, high. You hear us say that quite often, gadol, told. And the parent root is gadol, gadol, to twist, to exceed, to increase, to magnify, to promote. And that twist right there is like twisting several strings together to make a strong rope. That's the idea, that to twist. That's the way we made ropes back in the day. Several strings that they twist together very tightly to make a strong rope. That's the twist they're talking about. Lamim shalet. Lamim shalet, translated to rule. Mim shalah, mim shalah. That's rule, as in the area of rulership, your dominion, your government, power to rule. And the parent root, mashal, mashal. And that's to have dominion, to have governance, to reign, to have power. 25. Hakaton, that's in the modern. You'll hear some say hakwaton. Hakwaton or hakaton in the modern, translated as the lesser. Gadol was the greater, hakaton is the lesser. The root, kwatan or katan, means small, youngest, little, or least. And the parent root is kut or kut. And that's to cut off, to be grieved, to loathe oneself, to detest oneself. Ha-kokabim, ha-kokabim, translated as the stars. The root, kokab, kokab, that's star, as in blazing or shining, not like the 5-point, what you see most people draw as a star. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about that bright dot that you see, blazing. All right, the parent root is, and you, in the modern, it would be kavav, kava, kava. Most of us, you'll hear us use that as a wa, so it would be kawa. Most of us will say it. So kava in the modern, and it means to burn, to scorch. We got wayatan, wayatan. We got to translate it as anset. Root, yitan, yitan. That's to give, put, deliver. And the root, you've probably heard it before in speech or in reading, nathan. Nathan. See, it doesn't have that dagesh there. Nathan. And that's to bestow, to appoint, to produce, to give, to dedicate. "28, otam, otam, that means them, them. The root is eight, eight, and which is a particle or preposition, a direct object marker, right? So we know that in the modern, they don't translate that to a word. It's just a direct object marker. The root. But when you see the final mem at the end of that, they're translating that to them. And you see the holum. So we got otem, them. And then the root of that otem is eight, which doesn't translate to a word. It's just pointing to the direct object. And they say it's probably contracted from oath, oath. And we already looked at that earlier, meaning appearing as a mark or sign. 29, Rebi'i, 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 translated as fourth. The root is Rebi'i, Rebi'i, or ribi, ribi, sleek out, ribi. So we got ribi, and then it can also be pronounced as rebi, rebi, ribi, rebi. I got it translated as, it means fourth part, a fourth, four square. The parent root is rabah. Rabah, it means to square, to make something square, even on all sides. To be sprawling at four corners, four-sided. And then the last one, yesheritzu. Yesheritzu. And I got it translated as let bring forth abundantly. The root is sharatz. Sharatz means to wriggle or to swarm, to team or bound. Any questions? Like I said, I noticed about 3 typos, and I'll get those fixed, and y'all can check back on the website, and I should have those corrections. And the corrections are really in the phonetic, how it's pronounced. The definitions and the words are concrete. They're accurate. It's just when I put in the phonetic, how you would pronounce it, I see a couple of mistakes that needs to be fixed. All right. And the only reason why I'm making that a point, because it does make not in regular conversation, but in reading, the way you pronounce it could change, like the tense or the possession or something like that. All right. Any questions? I can't see the hands right now. So if anybody's got a question, just open your mic.
As long as I can, if somebody raise a hand, I'll let you know. Okay, I got you.
Toda everybody. All right, I'm about to pull up another, because I think the last time we were on, some people didn't get the that chart of prefixes, the common prefixes. So I'm going to pull that up real quick. This is all in the resource library. Everything I'm showing you now, you can find it on the website. I may have opened the wrong book. Sleep out. Let me grab my notes real quick. Well, it's recorded, so you can go back and look at that recording for that table. But it's in that Learn Biblical Hebrew. I'll show you. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, it's in the other table. All right. That's the one. Sleep out, Mishpaka. Give me just a second. If y'all got any questions or discussion points, just let me know while I pull this up.
Shabbat Shalom, More.
Shabbat shalom.
I was working on 28 to 30, somewhere around 30.
Yeah.
So that's nowhere near what you're doing now, right?
You mean what I'm trying to find?
Yeah. No,
Or what we went through today? Really, what we went through today would be 31 to 60.
Oh, I'm not that far away.
Right. So give me just a second. So this was the first set that came through, and really it would be 1 through 30.
I'm sorry. I mean pages in the other book.
All right, you're gonna need to clarify. I don't know what you mean. In that Learn Biblical Hebrew? Or in the first Hebrew primer?
The first Hebrew primer.
Okay, you got questions about that?
No, I was just wondering how far away I am compared to where the class is.
They're different levels. They're different levels right now, but those advanced, I would call them advanced readers. They're reading Genesis, Bereshit, and Devarim. They're and these right here are not in that vocabulary that we went through this morning. I mean earlier this session. These are different. These are not in that vocabulary sheets that you have 1 through 30. Does that make sense? So you're not going to get to the point on the sheet. Those 2 sheets are different assignments. Those are the actual vocabulary from Bereshit chapter 1. Here is just exercise vocabulary to the curriculum in the first Hebrew primer, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. I've just been learning the alphabet basically and putting the sounds together.
Okay. That's in the first Hebrew primer. Do you have any questions on that?
No, I'm gonna continue to work on that, and I'll just be looking at what y'all have from time to time. But I was wondering, do you ever get with the people that are just learning, and do you do exercises with them?
It would have to be like a case by case. If somebody got in touch with myself or Adon Kanakya, and they wanted to kind of get fast tracked up to where we are, because this is what happened. We've been trying to teach this Hebrew language for a few years. And what always winds up happening is some of the students would get up to the part to where they're starting to read, and then we would get like an influx of new, and then we would start over. So we said, this time we're not going to do that. We're not going to start over. We started from the beginning with everybody and kind of went through the alphabet. We went through the vowel pointing system, and then the practices on how to pronounce those words with the vowels. All right. And then where everybody is now, the majority of people now that are in here are reading. They're actually reading now, and they're getting to the point to where they're starting to what we call parse, is break down the Hebrew word for its root and for its prefix and for its suffix. And then you can really understand what the Hebrew is actually saying and check it against what the English is translating it as. So that's where we are now. Most of the students now are reading. They already know the alphabet. They already know the vowel point system. They know the pronunciation based on the vowel point. And now they're starting to get into, that's why we get into the vocabulary words now, so they can start to build their vocabulary and understand the words that they're reading. But if you're not at that point yet, then I would say continue to practice the alphabet. And if you want, you can hit myself up or Adon Kanakia, either by telephone. I think my telephone is in Telegram under my profile. You can shoot me an email, or you can just send me a message in Telegram, and we can set up a time where we can go through it.
That sounds great.
All right. All right, give me just a second. Toda Bati Bazion. Let me pull that up. All right, how do I get to there? It is. I'm still learning this. All right. I'm a dinosaur, believe it or not. So all praise to the Most High has got me this far. All right, page 15.
No, I meant the actual page. Okay. That's not, it's from part, I think it's part 1. No, part 2. Learn to read Biblical Hebrew 2.
We're getting there. We're getting there. You sure? Let me get my notes. But anyway, I wanted to go over the
Yes.
You said actual page 15. That chart.
See where, not the chart, but it has it right there. It says Ha is the, Va is and, La is to, Be is in, Me is from, Ke is light.
Right. But I wanted to pull that chart up. I think it's a little bit, might be a little bit easier to follow because you don't have the article, conjunction, preposition, all that stuff in there. We just want to see the plain that chart that just says a wa is this and a bet is that. Grab a note.
If you want, I could share it in Telegram at the in the class.
Share the what? That chart?
The chart.
I just want to show the chart. Give me just a second. And I apologize for me being not organized. I think it's in part 1. Don't Kanakia, you got anything you want to add while I search for this chart?
No, I didn't have anything at the moment.
Kind of. Give me just a second. See this. All right, that's not working. All right. But anyway, all of these, everything what we're looking at today, you have access to in the student portal. This is from that resource library. We're getting there. That's it right there. Let me blow that up. Page 55. Can y'all see that? Where it says prefixes. All right. And so this is the basic of the prefixes. For our where we are now in the language, this is just the basic. So when you can start to recognize, separate the root word from the prefixes. And we'll go into suffixes later, but want to get the root and the prefixes down. So we got the hey here as a prefix in front of the root word. It typically means the. So like ha debarim, that hey, ha debarim would be the words, the words. That ha makes it the words. And so you won't see a ha space and a word. In Hebrew, it's going to run together. It's going to be a prefix to the word. So when you see that ha and then the root word, that ha in front of it as a prefix means the. And then we got the wa or the vav, depending on your dialect. If that's a prefix, typically it means and. Wayomer, and he said, Wayomer, Wayomer, that would be that Y in front of Yomer. Omer being the Amar being the root. All right, so it would be and. The yod is a preposition, masculine possessive. So you'd have the wa, yo, and then the root, wa, yo, mer, means and he said. Well, it's translated that way as and he says, but it just, that yo just makes it a masculine possessive. Just remember that when you see the Y in front of the beginning of a word, 9 times out of 10, it's and. And we got the lamed. We got the lamed as a prefix. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be to. We got the bait or the vet as a prefix. 9 times out of 10, it means in. And then we got the mem as a prefix. 9 times out of 10, it means from. And then we have the kaf as a prefix. 9 times out of 10, it's like. And really the like is like unto, compared to, like. Not like I like somebody or I like that. It's more of a comparison, like unto. And then we have the shin or the sin, the sheen or the sin as a prefix, mean which, who, which and who. Any questions on that? And this is just the basic common prefixes you're going to see. All right. Let me close that out. I'm going to stop share real quick. Anybody got any questions on anything that you're going over right now?
Shalom, everyone. Because I've been out for a little bit of time. When I was going over, I know I'm trying to go through all of the the lessons now. I haven't been, just to be honest here, but I was just struggling with I was trying to find the definitions for the root word and the parent root word. Like, what is like the difference and what is of its importance for the root and the parent root. And if you could guide me to that answer, I would be more than happy to read it, or you can explain it to me a little bit better.
All right, let's go to it. We'll just start off with the first one. Let me know when y'all can see it.
We can see it.
Okay, I'm gonna pump it up just a little bit. All right. So I think I understand your question. You want clarification on what's the difference between the root and the parent root?
Yes.
Okay. So we see here we got the bet, right? We got the bet as a prefix. And so the root would be reshith. Reshith. That's a root. That's a root word. All right. Just remember that. That would be your root word, reshith. There is suffixes there, but we're not going to get into that just yet. We're not getting into the suffixes yet. But you see the prefix is the bet, which means in, right? We just went over that, in. And so this would be your root, reshith. There, reshith would be the root. But that root word, reshith, comes from the parent root, rosh. Rosh. Does that make sense?
Okay, so what you say is the root is coming from that, Rashid is coming from Rosh, so that would be like the primary root.
Right. And so
Okay.
we'll get into those, the binions.
Mhm.
And the binions, it means it means kind of like the construction of the house. That's what that word
Okay.
means. But it goes into the two consonant root. Typically you'll see a 3 consonant root. And typically that's your parent root. And then every word dealing with, here we're talking about better sheet, we're talking about Rosh. So everything that's coming off of Rosh, Reshit, Rosh Hashanah, any word like that, Rishon, those they are built off of Rosh. You see what I'm saying? So here we got Breshit, the beginning. Well, they got it translated as in the beginning because of that bet, which makes the root without the prefix, without that prefix right there, the root would be Reshit. Not including, and I don't want to confuse nobody, but there's suffixes here. But anyway, we see that the Rosh, Reshit is built off of Rosh. That's the parent root. If that's making sense. You got a parent root, which is Rosh. If you know what Rosh means, then everything related that's built off of Rosh is going to be primary or first or beginning. So any word that's built off of that Rosh is going to be connected to some kind of primary, first, head, like most important, things like that.
Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense now.
Okay.
So, okay, so anything connected to Rosh would be that the head, the primary. Okay, and
Right.
okay, it's clicking a little. It's
Okay.
clicking. It's gonna click more once I go through it more.
Right.
Hold on.
So just to kind of reiterate, the parent root is typically a 3-letter root, right? Sometimes you'll get a 2-letter root. And that's 3-letter root is typically your parent root. So every word that's built off of that 3-letter root is related to first, head, primary, chief, best, beginning. And so we see here, Bereshit, Rashid being the root, not the parent root, but being the root is beginning. And we see Rosh has a beginning. When we look at Rishon, right? That means, well, we call it in English Sunday, first day of the week, Rishon, right? Which is built off of Rosh. Rishon would be the root. Rishon would be the root, but Rosh would still be the parent root. And so it's the first day of the week, first head of the week. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Hold on.
Any other questions? And I'm not going to get to the reading today. I know y'all are disappointed, but I'm not going to get to the reading today.
I have a question.
All right. Do I need to keep the screen up or can I stop sharing?
Lo, you can stop sharing. But so do we have to like learn the parent, like try to memorize the parent root and the word? Because that's like kind of a lot. Or can we just like do the word and the root? Or do we have to know all of them? Like you're gonna ask or test us on the parent root and word.
No. On those vocabularies, I'm just going to ask you the definition of the word, including its prefix and its root. So like Bereshit, I'm not going to have you break down the bet as the prefix and Rashid as the root word, and then Rosh as the parent root. Nope, I'm just going to have, what does Bereshit mean? You know, when you get tested on it, it's just going to say, what is Bereshit? But because we're moving into reading and parsing, I'm giving us that tool right now that we can be working on. So when we read it, you know, like your Abba did the last time we were on reading, and he said, go ahead and break that down. That's what I did in this vocabulary, so that y'all can be ready for that. Does that make sense?
Thanks for that.
So, but when you get tested, now that's me. Maury Samat, if he might test you on all of it, but I'm just saying for now, if I give you a test on that vocabulary, I'm just going to ask you for the definition of the word. Don't worry about breaking out the root or the prefix or the parent root. So Bereshit, what does Bereshit mean? That's what I'll be asking when I test you.
Ta-da.
And Ms. Bakar, I do want to get us conditioned with this vocabulary on how to recognize it. It's hard to get comprehension if you can't break out the root word, at least the root word. Don't worry too much about the parent root. That'll come with time, but it's going to be hard to really get a understanding if we can't isolate the root. You understand what I'm saying? So you can look at a word and never had it as a vocabulary, but if you can break out the root word away from the prefix and the suffix, then you can pretty much get an idea of what that word is, and consequently you can start to get an idea of what that verse is saying, what that verse is pertaining to. All right, so that's why I put the vocabulary in this way. I hope that's not confusing. If it's too confusing, let me know, and we can slow it down a little bit. I just from where y'all are reading, I think you're ready for that. Any questions? Welcome, Akoti Randy. Welcome, Akoti Ayala Yada. And you've been here before, Akoti Willeen, so but welcome back.
Toda.
All right, Ms. Bakar. me see if the Moray Samak make it. And Toda Rabah, Ima, the Imas for coming on and supporting us. That really does. At least it keeps me motivated. It keeps me motivated. So Toda Rabah. All right. I know it was kind of cheap today, Mishpachah, but that's going to be it if there's no more questions or any comments. And like I said, when you look in, my contact information is in Zoom. You click on my profile. I think my email address is there and my phone number. I know my phone number is there, and I think my email address is there also. Adon Kanakya, will you take us out in Tefillah?
Okay. We just give you all praise, honor, and esteem for coming together to learn your language. We ask that you continue to inspire the minds of the teachers, that you continue to open the minds of understanding to the students, to continue to retain the letters, the vowel points, the sentence structures, the root words, so that we can understand the way that you communicate into the ancients. We ask that you continue to be with us as we journey throughout our week. We ask for your continual guidance and protection upon us, your continual mercy. We just ask that your righteous will continue to be done. Blessed be Yahuwah, creator of the earth. Blessed be the name of Yahuwah, creator of the earth, and blessed he who comes in the name of Yahuwah, creator of the earth. Hallelujah. Amen, amen.
Amen, wa amen. Toda Rabah, Toda Rabah. And next Shabbat, there'll probably be, well, if there's 30 more in Better Sheet chapter 1, you'll get another sheet of another 30. Toda Rabah for all y'all's dedication. And we're going to get back to the reading. I promise you that. We're going to get back to the reading. Matter of fact, probably next Shabbat, we'll go straight to the reading. We've been over the vocabulary. You got that chart. You know what that chart is. First, and learn to read Biblical Hebrew 1, page 55. So you can look at the common prefixes. Halal Yah, Halal Yah, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Toda.
Shalom.
Shabbat.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.